What's up, Colts fans? It's Austin here, Colts Fan Cave podcast. Here with Mom, here with Dad, and here at the Anvil. Look at that. We'll be watching old Pat McAfee hit the Anvil. Colts, Jags. Anthony Richardson first start. Can't wait. Let's go, Colts. Check this out. I'm hyping up Pat McAfee. I'm getting him ready. You know, I'm getting him ready to hit the anvil because I'm right there. Right, Pat McAfee's from me to you right now. And I'm like, I gotta do something. He's right here. What am I gonna say to him? What? Hammer down. And what am I gonna say to him? So I'm gonna be me. Alright? So I just looked at him. I'm like, you know what? Are you ready, Pat? Are you ready? Yes, Pat McAfee was on the anvil. Man, that was so cool. Let me tell you something. This next clip that you're about to see, first of all, is some strong language. Second of all, I wasn't actually really I was recording something, and then I started yelling at Pat. I started firing him up. You'll hear it in this clip. You can't really hear him. He does start yelling back at me. It's pretty cool. Are you fucking ready? I'm fucking ready. Yeah, I'm fucking ready. Let's fucking go. Yeah, I'm fucking ready. Let's fucking go. Let's go. By the way, I absolutely love the guy in the video at the very end when I'm done yelling at Pat going, what? That's just the cherry on top. I absolutely love it. Thank you, sir. Pat always gets the crowd going when he's on the anvil. The fact that I got to see this, the fact that I was right there when they got to bang the anvil was pretty cool. I really like Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee, I listen to his show, I watch his show, watch highlights whenever he's on ESPN show. I watch that. Pat McAfee's pretty cool. The fact that I got to see him bang the anvil for the first game of the season, that was pretty cool. Hey, I'm excited for this season. I'm excited. And so is Pat McAfee. I could tell that Pat McAfee was excited. I could tell. Let's go. Now, hold on, Mr. McKenna. I know what you're about to say. Before you watch this next clip, just know, it's a little shaky. It's not in frame. I'm going to put it in there anyway. I was a little shaken up after with my interaction with Pat, okay? That was a highlight of my week. I was a little fired up. So, forgive my camera shakiness, okay? Thanks.
I'm ready! Let's go! Are you ready? Woo!
Pretty good game. I mean, definitely some stuff the Colts need to figure out. Definitely some stuff Anthony Richardson needs to figure out. Week 1, I didn't really expect much. We didn't win. 31-21 was the final score. That's okay though. And all that matters is Anthony Richardson's development. 1 touchdown pass, 1 touchdown run for Anthony Richardson. He did have a pick. So, a lot to work on for Anthony Richardson. 0-1 to start the season. That's okay. We'll get them next time. We got Houston next week. I bet you we win that game. Go Colts. What's up, Colts fans? How you doing?
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it.
Well, that's good to hear. I'll tell you what, I'm okay after the Colts loss week 1. Yet another loss. Season opener. Colts have now gone an entire decade without winning a season opener. Little rough. We'll get there. Okay, we'll get there. 2024. That's the year we're gonna win a season opener. But like I said, like I've been saying, it's not about wins. It's not about losses. It's about Anthony Richardson. Let me tell you something. Fans were fired up for him. Fans, and by fans I mean me. I can't speak for anybody else, but man, I was pumped. I was pumped for Anthony Richardson. No, there a bunch of people had his jersey on, and it was cool. The stadium was lit. The atmosphere was awesome. I will get to a couple things that I think could be a little better. A couple things that I have complained about, and we'll get to that later. But the game was great. The Colts were in it. You know, the Jaguars started pulling away there at the end. I'll get into that. But the fans were fired up for Anthony Richardson. He did have a pick. He went 24 for 37 for 223 yards, 1 passing touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown. So he had 2 touchdowns. First touchdown in his career came on the ground. That was awesome. Fans were fired up. That was really cool, man. Other than that, he also had, let me see, he had 10 carries for 40 yards. So 4 yards a carry and a touchdown, like I said. Other than that, there was no run game. Deion Jackson had 13 carries for 14 yards and 2 fumbles. Man, I don't think I've ever seen a worse stat line from a running back than that. 1.1 yards per carry? Oh, man.
That is fucking disgusting.
Zach Moss, is he going to come back from his broken arm injury? He might be at practice. I think he's been at practice, but he's been limited. So we'll see how that goes. If we can get him back, that'd be great. There was a leak the Sunday morning before the game that said that Jonathan Taylor would play if he were, pass the physical. He passed the physical and would play tomorrow. But he's still in the PUP list, and he might play for the Colts. I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see. That doesn't fix our running game. Our running game was awful without Jonathan Taylor. We're gonna have to fix it. We're gonna have to get something on. So maybe a free agency will be on the board. Maybe we give Kareem Hunt another call. Maybe we get Kenyon Drake back in here. He seemed more like a camp body. I don't know, but something better than Deion Jackson. Okay, I'm sorry, he just wasn't getting it done. So the Colts were pretty aggressive on 4th down. We knew that Shane Steichen coming in, we thought that he was going to be, a little bit of a risk taker. And he was. My dad said to me the first time we went for it on 4th down, in the second quarter, I think it was tied at 7. My dad said to me, he's like, man, I don't like us going for this. It was 4th and 1 from Jacksonville's 16-yard line. And we opted to go for it. Didn't get it. Did not get it. And bypassing what would have been a 34-yard field goal to go up 10-7 at that point. And then my dad later on pointed out to me in the game when we were down by 10. Like, hey, man, all we would have to do on this drive was get a touchdown. All we'd have to do to get on a drive. All we would have to do on this drive is get a touchdown. And we would tie the game. And he's right. He's 100% right. And I tried to explain to him, and I don't necessarily think this way, but this is the way that the NFL's going. I tried to explain to him, I'm like, look, man, the NFL, analytics, they're trending that way. It seems like some coaches are they're going for it more 4th down. You see it in LA, You see it more and more. I feel like the Chiefs go for it more and more. But whenever you got a playmaker like Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, you're going to go for it. But, Shane Steichen, I feel like he wanted to come out. Went for it 5 times today. Not today. Shane Steichen went for it 5 times on Sunday. And only successful once. So, that field goal was not taken in the second quarter. It could have came back. We could have tied it, But I tried to explain to my dad that, and he wasn't on board, and he wasn't having it, and I kind of agree with him. He kind of has a point. He said it a few times. I think in that Buffalo playoff game, I think we ended up losing by 3. I think we bypassed the field goal and ended up losing by 3. So different coaching staff. I understand. It's just, what do you do in that situation? Do you go for the touchdown? You have confidence in your group. That shows you have confidence in your offensive group, and that you also have confidence in your defense to get a stop. And the Colts defense did get a stop on the next possession. They did force a punt, but you still didn't get points. You didn't get points on that drive. And then in a league where it's so hard to score as it is, you got to get as many points as you can. And also on the next drive, the Colts were on Jacksonville's 42-yard line and went for it on 4th and 4 and didn't get it. It's kind of I said to my dad, I'm like, what do you think about this one? And he's like, you know what, I agree with this one. And I do. I agree with going. That's kind of that gray zone. You go for it, and sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. But when you have the points, when the points are right there, I feel like you got to take them. You got to take them. But that's okay. I trust Shane Steichen. I hope he's, I want him to take risks. I do. I want him to. That Frank Reich, when he went forward on 4th down against the Texans, I like that. I felt like that turned our season around because it just gave the Colts the jolt they needed. We ended up losing that game. We ended up running the table and making the playoffs. But that was long, long ago. Long ago, back when we had Andrew Luck. The defense was solid. I didn't think that they were too bad. Okay, DeForest Buckner, excellent. Okay, he had a fumble return for a touchdown. I'm pretty sure he had the sack on that play. That was a heads-up play, by the way. That was an awesome play by Zaire Franklin, just coming in and punching that ball out of tank, and the awareness for DeForest Buckner to pick it up and take it for a score, and what an awesome score it was. What a great touchdown it was. DeForest Buckner, man, I think he is the centerpiece on this defense. I would say it's Leonard. Leonard had a great game. He had 8 tackles and 1 tackle for loss. But he has to show me something. Shaquille Leonard has to show me that he can put it together consistently, because he's been pretty injured, and I want to see it out of him. I'm not doubting him. I just want to see it out of him before I can say that this is his defense again. Because right now, as it stands, it's DeForest Buckner's defense. And that's not a bad thing. That just means we got a couple dogs on defense, all right? Like I said, Zaire Franklin, he's a dog too. Okay, we got a solid defense, all right? We got a solid defense. I liked what I saw. Anthony Richardson put Jacksonville in a good spot, put the defense in a bad spot. It was all set up by a punt. Now, Rigoberto Sanchez, he didn't have a great game. I don't know if it was him coming off injury. He just didn't look good on Sunday, and he had some not so okay punts. To play the game, I think that what really kind of got Jacksonville into the game, because before this point, I think the Colts had a 70% chance to win. According to analytics, say what you want to say about analytics, okay, whatever. But according to the ESPN app, analytics had the Colts at a 70% chance to win at the point before the punt. Now the punt occurred, and Jamal Agnew actually bobbles. It hits the ground, and he picks it up at the 6-yard line. He didn't bobble it. It hits the ground. He picks it up at the 6-yard line and returns it. And it's the play of the game, because he gets a huge return out of it. Gives the Jaguars a short field, and the Jaguars, they drive, and they get the touchdown eventually. They take the lead, 24-21, and then Anthony Richardson, on the very next drive, throws his first interception of his career. And he's going to have those mistakes. Unfortunately, it comes at a time when you were down in the 4th quarter, when you led going into it. It sucks. Colts ended up, the Jaguars ended up driving down the field and getting another touchdown, a 26-yard touchdown run by Travis Etienne. And, man, I tell you what, it was... the Colts were in it. Jaguars pulled away late. The Colts are in it. And then when the Colts tried to come back, this was another time that some fans thought that Shane Steichen should have taken the field goal. Another field goal was in the 4th quarter when you're down by 10, 31-21, and you're trying to score. You're just trying to get down the field. And they did. And they got down all the way to the goal line. and they didn't take the field goal, which you would have still been down by 7. You still had to get an onside kick. I like going for a touchdown first and then going for a field goal, but they didn't. But they didn't take the field goal. They ended up trying to go for the touchdown. Now, Anthony Richardson, he scrambled a couple times. I think on the first scramble of the game, he got banged up. I think he just banged up a little bit. And then he was limping a little bit. I mean, that's the game. That's the NFL, you know. And then he, in the very last few plays of the game, he's running toward trying to get to the touchdown, and he gets hit. And he goes down, and he was down, and he ended up leaving the game with, an injury. They said that he's doing fine. Everybody says that he's doing fine. I hope he's doing fine. The stadium went absolutely quiet when Anthony Richardson went down. Now, Gardner Minshew came in, finished the game. He was 0 for 2. Tried to get to the end zone, couldn't do it. Jacksonville ended up taking over on downs, winning the game. Congratulations to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Unfortunately, the Colts did lose. They're 0-1. Trevor Lawrence did have some advice for Anthony Richardson after the game. He said, hey, man, pretty much just, slide. Protect yourself. Don't take those kind of hits, because those hits add up. In the NFL, those hits add up. College and the NFL are two completely different sports, really. They are. I mean, I know they're the same sport. They're both football, but there are two completely different sports in the manner of how physical it really is between the two. It's night and day. It really is. And Trevor Lawrence has been in both. He was a great quarterback, one of the greatest quarterbacks at Clemson. Now coming into the NFL, he's one of the best prospects coming in. And now he's starting to live up to the hype, and he's trying to share his what little wisdom he does have, because he's still pretty young himself. He's trying to share what little wisdom he does have to one of his division rivals. I gotta respect it. You gotta like Trevor Lawrence. He's a division rival, but I've got a lot of respect for the guy. Now, I didn't want to end the show on a negative note, but I'm probably gonna have to, because I wanted to talk about this. I just wanted to say this, that I think the Colts fans around need to be a little louder, okay? But let's be a little more respectful to the opposing team's fans, okay? I've been going to games since 2005. I've been going to games since, for 18 years now. This is my 18th season. And I've never seen a couple more miserable fans. And they're Colts fans, right? I've never seen a couple more miserable fans. They're always dogging the team. They're always being just like disrespectful to opposing teams' fans. This particular incident happened, and these couple fans were yelling, and one guy was just getting heated and talking about how Jacksonville doesn't have real fans, and their people behind us were Jacksonville fans. And he's like, you guys aren't real Jacksonville fans. You guys are bandwagon fans. Well, they were from Jacksonville. Just be a little more respectful. And he was making the argument, which was a weird argument. He was making the argument like, you guys have had tarped off stands for years. You guys suck, okay? They're still fans. They still love their team. They still paid the money. They still traveled to Indianapolis to come see the Jacksonville Jaguars. Get a dub. Get a dub. Hey, whoever you root for, it doesn't matter. Let's just have fun. Let's just enjoy the game. Talk a little trash like, hey, oh yeah, look at DeForest Buckner taking back that touchdown. But let's not be disrespectful, okay? I don't like seeing that at games. Whatever. It is what it is. I'm just saying, for all your fans that go to games, be respectful to the opposing team's fans. Get them a little riled up, but, just be nice about it. Be cool about it. But listen, that's the show. That's it. I am a big dog named Austin, and I would like to tell you, go Colts.